Hi, everyone. My name is Kyle McDonald. I am the owner and mental performance consultant of Competitive Will Performance Consulting. I was asked to do just a quick video just on the mentality and mindset of a high performer for the Saskatchewan's Toughest Youth Challenge. And so hopefully I'll take the next kind of 5 minutes or so and take you through kind of some key philosophies as you prepare for this challenge and kind of the weeks and days ahead of you. So I think, when we talk about mental performance from kind of a development point of view, I think the number one thing that this gives an opportunity for you is to really start identifying your process to focus and concentrate and how you manage your emotions and anxieties. And a lot of that stems from our preparation skills. So how you see yourself, your self-talk, so your imagery, your self-talk, your mindfulness, and most importantly, I think something that's really important as you work your way through the toughest challenges to make sure you're reflecting and understanding the process that you're taking. Because I think when you start a new challenge such as this, your mind can be full of a million distractions, and I think this creates an opportunity to really work on being concise and mindful exactly what you want to do, and setting goals to do that. And no matter how many people are in, I think everybody has a different route to success, and you kind of diving into your route and what your expectations are really important. So the other thing I think a lot about is I think when we enter a challenge like this, or any challenge or competition in any sport really, is we're always looking for that feel good effect. And what is the feel good effect? It's usually in the outcomes. It's a win. It's something like that, in the sense of it helps us, and it does build confidence. But I think what the toughest challenge will do is I think it's going to make you really dive into how you invest your day-to-day process, because the feel good effect isn't going to be there all the time. So like I said, I think it's going to make you dive into, instead of just the outcome of working hard, it's going to make you be a hard worker. And instead of winning, it's going to make you be a winner. And being a winner is that daily investment, and assessing how you are, and maybe how you see and how you communicate on your objectives and your progress and your process, and what you assume is what performance looks like. And I think, with all that said, I think as you start this challenge, I think it's important to reflect on some of those aspects. Are you working as hard as you can? Are you being a hard worker? Are you being a winner? Are you doing the right things? Are you eating right? Are you resting properly? Are you getting enough sleep and stuff like that? So I think if you're doing those things and you're reflecting on that, I think being present and in the moment really speaks to that process. And I think if you're doing a good job day to day, the highest performers always compete. And I think that's the differentiator. And the feel good effect is winning, but the actual process of what you're going to discover upon yourself and what you're doing really creates that confidence that I think this challenge will give you. I think it gives that opportunity for you always to be working on something. And I think that's the whole key, is that when you dive into this, I think understanding your purpose and your why, what your principles are, how you look at your day-to-day training, how you manage the stress, how you develop your confidence through this, how your thought patterns will help dictate your performance, and how you really build identity during all of this, I think is a great opportunity. And I just love the concept of the toughest challenge, because I think it's going to generate a lot of athletes to create a standard pattern of thought and how they compete. And so if you're doing those things and you're developing your identity and your emotional intelligence and how you handle good versus bad days, I think no matter what happens, and if you achieve the results that you want or you don't, there's going to be a lot of growth. And I think even when you take it back into the pandemic, if you look at all the stuff that's gone on in our lives, I think this is an opportunity for you to understand how you manage yourself. I think it's an opportunity for you to paint the picture. And I think it's a huge opportunity for you to understand how you embrace adversity as an athlete. And, I think the best athletes always find ways to challenge themselves and knock themselves out of their comfort zones. And I think this creates a great opportunity for you to discover what those principles look like for yourself, and the actions that you can always improve on in that daily investment. I think the ability to influence your behaviors moves you from, being just an athlete to being an invested athlete. And I think that's how you establish yourself in some of this stuff. So the one piece of advice that I would really like to throw your way before I get into a couple activities for you is really to monitor your self-talk, because your self-talk really speaks to your self-control. And there's some research out there that talks about we only have so much self-control in a day, but if you lose some of that self-control, your self-talk can help promote and generate some of it. And I think that's a really important key as you work your way through. So a couple other key aspects I think is I think to really spend time on how kind of setting the forecast for yourself, how to grow, how you invest, how you're vulnerable, and your efficacy. And so if you're starting to, I talk about give goals a lot with my athletes, the GIVE. If you're setting those goals on a weekly or daily basis, understand you don't have to abandon those goals if they don't go well, but find the sequence that you need to help you go to that next level. And I think if you're doing that, that's how you be a winner. And that's how you invest your time. So, I think setting up, what are your 7 things per day you have to do in your training, I think is another key to greatness. And lastly, I talk a lot about 333 points of self-awareness. So on a daily basis, what 3 aspects of development did you achieve? What are 3 areas that you felt held you back? And how can you neutralize those and move forward? And what are 3 action points for tomorrow that will help you stay on track as you go through this? So that ties into how you grow, the G, how you invest, the I, how you're vulnerable, the V, and your efficacy, your situation, being in the moment. So at the end of the day, understand what you believe and how you compete. And I think if you're doing those things, I think you're really going to find it rewarding and understand the process that takes you to create that mentality as you work your way through the toughest challenge. So good luck. If there's ever anything anybody needs, never hesitate to reach out. So like I said, good luck, and I look forward to talking further.